This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by Tunnel and Razor.
Well, no matter what the reason is, getting a divorce can be tricky. There's paperwork and, of course, court hearings. That's why it's important to get a lawyer to help. Delmarva Life's Sean Stryker stopped by Tunnel and Razor Law Firm in Georgetown to find out what you can expect when filing for a divorce in Delaware.
While it doesn't have to be, divorce can often be complicated.
People going through divorce have spent a lot of time, money, emotional capital to build that relationship, and then when that relationship crumbles, all of those things kind of come out and make things more difficult.
Dean Betts Jr. is the lead counsel for the Domestic Relations Department at Tunnel and Razor Law Firm in Georgetown. He says over the years, getting a divorce has actually gotten easier.
Before the adoption of the annulment and divorce statute in 1979, there was grounds for divorce that had to be proven: adultery, misconduct of some kind, habitual drunkenness, abuse, things like that. But after the adoption of the no-fault divorce statute in 1979, grounds for divorce was added called incompatibility. So all a spouse has to prove now is that they don't get along with the other spouse.
This can be done with or without the agreement of the husband and wife. But in Delaware, there are a few steps you must take before the court will grant you a divorce.
The parties have to be separated for at least 6 months before the court will grant a divorce. Separation means living in separate houses. It can also mean, if you're in the same house, having separate bedrooms and not having relations with each other. And if there's children involved, there's also a requirement that the spouses take a parent education class and submit proof of completion to the court before the court will enter a final divorce decree.
The court also has the responsibility of dividing up what's his and what's hers.
The court tries to divide the marital estate fairly, and there's 11 factors that the court considers in determining what's fair: the length of the marriage, any prior marriages of the party, the amount and sources of income of the parties, their employability, their potential to acquire capital assets and income in the future, tax consequences, debts, those types of things. So the court kind of looks at the whole picture and reviews those factors and decides what's fair. Fair in some cases may be 50-50 down the middle. Fair in other cases may be a 60-40 or a 70-30 split. It all depends on what the court considers to be a fair division.
So if a spouse has been a stay-at-home parent, Dean says he would argue they deserve a bigger portion of the estate.
She really doesn't have the opportunity to go out and earn an income or get other assets that could support her.
When children are involved, the situation only becomes that much more emotional.
There are some clients that work through those issues amicably, and there are other cases where it's just a real bone of contention between the parties. And the emotions, as I said, always run high when it comes to the kids.
When that happens, Dean reminds his clients to look out for the best interest of their children.
Because that's what the court's going to do, and not take things too personally as far as what their wants and needs are, but really to focus on the needs of the children.
It's for all of these reasons that Dean suggests getting a lawyer to help you through the process.
Divorce can be a long and complicated process. It usually involves several different types of hearings in court where the advice of an attorney would be absolutely essential. I've had clients that tried to do it themselves, and invariably they come back to me and say, I need help. It's a difficult, complicated court process that requires the assistance of good legal counsel to steer you through it.
Now, when it comes to filing a divorce, Dean says as long as one of the parties is a resident of the state of Delaware for at least 6 months, a judge can hear the case even if the other spouse is out of state. Obviously, a subject you don't want to talk about, but
think about the kids.
Yeah,
think about the kids.
Very, very important.